everybody? Welcome back to our second part of our top 5 favorite comedies. This is Dwayne with Sam and Alec. I'm Alec.
Not done yet, man.
You're still dancing?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm ready. Sam. I'm Sam.
That's Sam, everybody.
So
this is a wacky episode.
You saw part 1. Now it's time for part 2. We're going to go through my number 5, my number 4, some of his. And
I got 2 and 1 left.
Also, my number 2 and my number 1.
Yeah.
And honorable mentions. Okay, so we're going to try and get this through in a half an hour.
So
we'll see what happens.
So my number 2 is Dumb and Dumber, which is your number 4.
Correct.
So let's do some Dumb and Dumber talk. Since it was your number 4, I'll let you go. Go ahead, Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
I can't believe this isn't higher on your list.
It's
so close. Like I've seen it so many times. It's just like
it's just because like I said, there was so many movies I was introduced to when I was younger.
Yeah. I was introduced to this when I was really young too. So.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know.
Came out in 1994.
Yeah, 66% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's.
I think that's dumb.
That's some bullshit.
And dumber.
Yeah, man.
Don't.
We should have done the miss, the Harry and Lloyd miss.
No, because it's gonna hit the microphone. I know for sure. So when they're big fun fact, when they're both in the car, and
with the guy in it,
and Lloyd looks at Harry, and he's just like, "Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?"
The most annoying sound. Oh god!
And then he screams. That was completely improvised, and you can actually tell it was improvised because of Jeff Daniels' face. As soon as he does the scream, you hear Jeff Daniels. He's just like. Like he freaks just for a split second. It's when that guy was in the car, the gas man.
Oh yeah, the gas man.
Yeah. How the hell do they know I got gas?
I can just like when the gas man rips the bird's head off, and he comes home. Or spoiler alert for Dumb and Dumber if you haven't
seen it, just like don't watch. Yeah, I'm kidding. No, watch.
Watch. Yeah, keep watching.
Yeah.
But no, when the gas man rips the bird's head off and like. Harry's crying and like Lloyd's like, come on, what's going on? He goes, his head fell off, and he goes, his head fell off, and he's like, yeah, he was pretty old.
So good.
He sells the bird to the kid,
the blind kid.
Yeah, you sold my dead bird to a blind kid. Petey didn't have a head.
I took care of it.
I took care of it. And it just taped, and it's backwards.
Oh god. Oh my god.
I just thought he was really quiet.
Okay, what do you do?
See, this is why Dumb and Dumber is so, because I'm laughing at it. I've seen it a million. It was on TBS like a billion times.
Yeah, I think that's where I did most of my watching.
Yeah, and I never saw. Like,
I don't think I've ever owned it.
I do own it, but I saw the edited version. Yeah. So the scene where he's like, "Hey, I thought the Rockies would be a lot rockier than this," and he goes. I was thinking the same thing.
John Denver was full of shit, man.
See, I never saw that line because they cut it out because of the shit word.
Yeah,
so Dumb and Dumber. This is my favorite fact. I just took my favorite facts. I knew this would be on your list, and I knew you'd go crazy with facts. Nicolas Cage and Gary Oldman were originally supposed to play Harry and Lloyd. How freaking crazy would that have been for Commissioner Gordon and Ghost Rider to be Harry and Lloyd? I still want this film to exist, but I would give anything to see a Gary Oldman and Nicolas Cage Dumb and Dumber film.
Honestly,
how crazy would that be? Nicolas Cage?
I just don't even know how it because their characters are so engraved in our head. How they did it, I can't picture it in my head.
Who would do the toilet scene, the diarrhea scene with Jeff Daniels?
I think that's Gary Oldman.
You think Gary Oldman? Would
I think Gary Oldman's Harry.
Here's Jeff Daniels is once coined because that diarrhea scene is more. I can watch that diarrhea scene.
I have a fact to go on the diarrhea scene.
Okay,
no. You have to say it first.
He said that the toilet scene is his Oscar performance.
It's funny you say that because I remember they have this skit on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Where they're talking to Jeff Daniels and they're just like talking to him, and then just like. We have the scene from Dumb and Dumber, the most famous scene. They show the diarrhea scene. Yeah, everybody's laughing. It's all cool. And then they're like, now we have one of your most famous scenes from Arachnophobia, another movie that he did. Yeah. And they go and play the clip, and it's the diarrhea scene again. And then they show like 6 scenes from movies, but every time they show the diarrhea scene, and Jeff Daniels getting so pissed off. It's one of the funniest skits. I remember it on Saturday Night Live.
The diarrhea scene is so funny. Just because you really believe he has diarrhea.
He does that scream, and I know that sweat. Yeah, I know that scream.
And then when he finds out the toilet's broken and it won't flush, and he's just like, she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm shaving.
And you just hear bashing. Things are just bashing inside.
Flush, you bastard. And he's moving
my favorite scene in this movie, and this is... honestly the hardest I've ever laughed for any movie. To this day, this is my favorite scene, funniest scene in any movie ever made, is when Harry throws a snowball at Mary Swanson's face, just this far away. Yeah,
she throws a little snow at him, and he gets like the eye of the tiger, and he's just like
whips it like.
Like he cuts in there, snow's on her face,
and then she gets up, she throws one back at his shoulder, he just bum rush tackles her down the hill, he's slamming her head into the snow. Funniest thing I've ever seen in any movie by far, and it's a shame that it's number 4, but that scene,
my number 2.
That scene is the funniest scene I've ever seen.
It's weird. Do you have the money fact?
Yeah, you do that one if you want.
Because
I got a good one here that I want to say.
One of the craziest facts about this film is that Jeff Daniels was paid $50,000 to make it. His manager didn't want him to do the film. His manager
didn't want him to do it. Jim Carrey's the only one that really wanted him. Even the Farrelly brothers didn't want them.
Really?
That's why
he's such a serious actor, Jeff Daniels.
And that's the thing we don't actually we don't remember.
Yeah.
Is like you got to understand he was a serious actor at this time.
Yeah, exactly.
So comedy wasn't the thing.
He was a drama
guy. The Farrelly brothers, they offered him $50,000 because they wanted him to say no.
Oh wow!
So they offered him, and he just said, "Yeah, sure," and he didn't even negotiate. He's just like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." They're like,
so funny.
"Oh shit!" And agent said, "This is going to ruin your career," and this is his most famous movie.
And the manager since got fired. I remember the guy he managed that was a while ago. How much? Jim Carrey got paid like
he was one of the top people in comedy.
Yeah, because this was '94, so that was Jim Carrey prime time. Right? Yeah, you got Mask around that time, Ace Ventura around that time. So. I mean, what's left to be said about Dumb and Dumber? Go ahead.
Well, I got two things just to say. One is a crazy fact, and one is like a really cool fact.
Yeah.
So during filming, I got to actually read this because it's kind of long. During filming, he stayed at the Stanley Hotel in room 217, which is the hotel from The Shining.
I did know that. That's
so
funny.
He stayed there, and according to the tour guide, he ran out of his room 3 hours after going to bed, and he left the hotel. To this day, he'll never go back to that hotel and won't say why. It's been said and like talked about that he apparently saw the ghost of his granddad there.
I would die. Yeah, I would die.
Which is so crazy.
That gave me goosebumps, dude. I'm actually genuinely freaked out. The Shining has stuck. The Shining.
Why is it dark outside?
What was that noise? The lights turn off.
Oh shit.
Oh god.
Yeah, and just so we don't.
The Shining is one of my. Still scares me to this day.
It's so good, and just so
one of my favorite
we don't have trouble sleeping tonight, I'm going to say something funny.
Please, come back.
At the end of the movie, everybody, like I said, these all have spoilers. At the end of the movie, when those ladies come out, the supermodels,
and
they need somebody to oil and massage their bodies.
This scene pisses me off, but it's
brilliant. He's just like, there's a town over there, and they're like, okay, thank
Even though they were suggesting like you guys should oil our bodies all across America,
and then they come back, and he's like, Harry, are you crazy? Yeah. And then they come back, and he's like, actually, my friend's a little slow. The town's that way.
He's like, sorry.
And it's just like, sorry. And that's the end of the movie, which is brilliant. And one thing, the Farrelly brothers, they wanted to film an alternate scene where they actually get on the bus and then they have the time of their lives and all this stuff. Jim Carrey would not even film that scene because he said there is no way in hell Lloyd Christmas would do that.
These guys are idiots.
No way in hell that would happen. So he wouldn't even film that scene. I thought that's pretty dope.
Yeah, pretty dope. Dumb and Dumber, my number 2. Yeah. Oh, here's a Harlan Williams film debut. He's the guy that drinks the piss, which is my second favorite.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, because I can't really think of anything before that.
Yeah, well, I looked it up too. I did.
Yeah. Research. Oh no, I bet you did.
Harlan Williams was in Half Baked. He's a Canadian.
And Rocket Man.
Yeah, Rocket Man. Oh, dude, Rocket Man. I forgot about Rocket Man. That's some old school Disney. Is that Disney live action?
I think so. I think so. It's funny. It's like a G-rated funny movie.
You'll keep your mouth shut if you know what's good for you, sir. Please don't. He pisses in this bottle. And the guy, this sheriff pulls him over, thinks they've been boozing.
Don't forget, when he passes the bottle over, he spills it. It spills on Harry, and you just see Harry just...
He's like trying to wipe it off. Sorry, sir. He was like offering him a Tic Tac or something.
Tic Tac, sir?
Tic Tac, sir?
Get the hell out of here.
Killer boots, man. Samsonite. I was way off.
Oh, God. Or Harry! Your hands are perfect.
I'm gonna throw this damn purse in that damn lake.
Oh God, love it.
That movie's. That's what makes good movies. How endlessly quotable. It's one of the most quotable movies I've ever seen. Yeah. So that's my number 2. I won't do my number 1. You got your number.
I got a few here.
You got more?
Yeah. Well, I got my number 2.
Okay.
my number 5, which still remains to be spoken.
We'll be there really
quick.
And
my number 1.
Okay.
So I'll do my number 2 first.
Okay, go ahead. Do your number 2.
And then number 5, and then number 1, apparently. Because I'm good at deduction.
Yeah, exactly.
So my number 2, and don't get it twisted, has nothing to do with Steve Martin, is the Pink Panther.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God, I haven't seen one of those movies in so long. This is all you.
This, honestly...
I watched the cartoon a lot.
The cartoon was really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the ones, like, we've always made the decisions to do this. Yeah. In the way that when we say a movie, the whole storyline counts. So when I say Rocky,
Spy
1
film,
through 6, it counts. Yeah. So Pink Panther started out in 1963.
Okay.
The next one, Pink Panther, Return of the Pink Panther, was 1975. 76 was Pink Panther Strikes Again. 78 was Curse of the Pink Panther or Return of the Pink... No, Curse of the Pink Panther. I said Revenge of the Pink Panther. Yeah. So Rotten Tomatoes scores 90% for the first one.
Wow.
89 for the second one.
Classics. Yeah.
83 for the third one.
Yeah.
So the ones I'm going to be talking about, because the ones after this didn't really do as well.
Okay.
And these are the ones I'm used to, the 3. But I'm going to be mainly talking about the Pink Panther Strikes Again. Okay? So that's the one with 83%. Okay. It's the one I've watched the most. It's the one that's like lodged in my brain with memories and all that kind of stuff. But any one of them they're so good.
Yeah.
So any one of them is a good pick. So
I vaguely have them in my brain.
They're so good. We'll watch them one day. They're so good. So I'm going to be doing just some facts from the Pink Panther Strikes Again.
Sweet.
So Peter Sellers is the actor, and he plays Chief Inspector Clouseau. Well, eventually he becomes Chief Inspector Clouseau, but Inspector Clouseau.
Yeah.
And Richard Dreyfuss is the... sorry, not Richard Dreyfuss. I knew I was going to make that mistake. Charles Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss is an actor. Charles Dreyfuss is the boss in this that eventually goes crazy because Inspector Clouseau's stupid.
Yes,
and he eventually goes crazy and like tries to destroy the world, which is the story of the number 3 that I'm talking about. Pink Panther Strikes Again. So one funny thing is the Pink Panther was actually the diamond, the Pink Panther diamond, and that was in number 1.
The Pink Panther little thing is just like the logo for the movies. They eventually made a cartoon.
Well, what happened was in 1963, that was the diamond. That's what the Pink Panther was.
Yeah.
And then throughout that, in 1970, that's when they started with the cartoon
Pink Panther.
And kind of Pink Panther was synonymous with the Pink Panther cartoon and Inspector Clouseau. Yeah. That was the Pink Panther. So in number 2, 3, they don't mention the diamond anymore. Yeah. It's never mentioned again.
Okay. Interesting.
So, which is cool.
I do remember the diamond specifically.
Yeah. This movie has my man in it. We got to be proud from time to time when my brown brothers are making it into these movies. Mm-hmm. An actor named Omar Sharif. Okay. He does a brief cameo in this movie as the Egyptian assassin. He's coming in.
I think I know that.
He's coming in to kill Clouseau. And this Russian assassin, who's this like hot lady, is coming in to kill Clouseau as well. Okay. And she thinks Omar Sharif is Clouseau, but then Omar Sharif puts the Mac on her, and he ends up sleeping with her and giving her the time of her life.
Swag.
Doesn't kill anybody, and then she is in love with Clouseau after that because Omar Sharif gave her the business.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig. I said dig it.
Dig. And then so the whole no, I know, I'm just kidding. And then the whole movie, she's like in love with Clouseau. She was supposed to kill him, and it's hilarious what happens after that. Also,
what year did this one? What years are it? 1963?
63 was the first one. 75 was the next one, which was a big jump.
For me, like I know. For me, it's tough for me to go back and watch those really old comedies because they just.
That's the thing.
I don't know how timeless they are. I believe you. It's still funny.
Number 1, honestly, it's the best movie out of the 3, like Rotten Tomatoes score wise. Okay. But to me, 2 and 3 are way funny.
Gotcha.
So I mean, they'll still hold up to this.
I watched the cartoon when I was a kid so much. I remember the cartoon.
Yeah, they're so good. And one fun fact is a trailer for this movie was actually composed entirely of the bloopers.
Oh, that's so funny.
So when you watch the movie, no part in the trailer is in the movie.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's really
because
cool.
They still put like the funniest shit in it. Yeah. But then when you actually watch the movie, nothing is ruined.
Nothing pisses me off more than in trailers when they put the funniest gags.
All the funniest part, like Sausage Party.
Yeah, Sausage Party. Yeah, I know. That's another beef with that movie was that all the funny parts were because the trailer was so funny. Remember when we watched it, we were laughing our ass off.
Yeah.
So
this is true.
Then disappointment for you.
Very disappointed. And me as well. Yeah. But yeah, awesome
movie.
Pink
Panthers. Okay, cool. Respect, man. You got some class. Those are like some classic films.
I'm pretty classy.
Yeah. It'd be funny if you like. It'd be funny if you were drinking like a 40 of malt liquor or something like that.
I wish. I don't. I smell beer.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
40s. Yeah. Oh god, $5.
Malt liquor. I don't even like $5. I don't even like malt drinks.
No, I don't know how anybody drinks that. No. Okay, so my number 1 is your number 5. And that's the movie that changed comedy like to nowadays to what we know, the Judd Apatow revolution. That's the 40-Year-Old Virgin 2005, 85% on Rotten.
You're correct.
It's yes. So you have the facts. I wish this was higher on your list. I was thinking to be like your number 3. Also, I was thinking maybe like Superbad or one of those other Judd Apatows were going to make your list.
Superbad, honestly, as much as it makes me laugh, 40-Year-Old Virgin would always be higher than Superbad because of the movie in total.
40-Year-Old Virgin has an amazing story. It's about this nerd who collects comics and toys. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about myself.
You're not 40.
I'm not 40. I'm not a. And but anyway, so it's about this guy. He collects toys, comics. He's a nerd. He works at this electronics shop. He ain't ever been laid, and his boys try to hook him up with some ponane. So, 40-Year-Old Virgin. I remember watching this in high school. I remember I went with my girlfriend at the time. I saw the trailer. I thought it was really funny. We just went for something to do. The movie ended up blowing my damn mind. Like, I cannot... I felt so... The next day, I went with my boys. I was like, yo, what are you guys doing? They're like, nothing. I was like, we're going. So I took, like, all my buddies. Yeah. We watched, and we all laughed our ass off. It's a gut-busting film. It has a lot of heart. It's a feel-good story.
Mm-hmm. Great story. That's the huge part of this movie. Good. Is the whole quality of the movie.
It's great all around. The love story, like you feel him and Trish's connection. Yeah, you are pulling for them.
I really like the chemistry they had. Honestly, like she was awesome. In it.
She was the first person they picked. I have her, Catherine Keen. She was the first person. They were the first person they chose for. She was so charming and like nice and sweet. Here's a fun fact: the movie was mainly improvised.
That makes sense.
They made up a lot of shit. For instance, the "You know how I know you're gay" scene.
That's one of my facts.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and go. Yeah.
Well, I basically said a lot was improvised. This is exactly my fact. You know how I knew you're gay between Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd,
which is extended in the extended cut.
Yeah,
like you can see how they
all
go
improvised off. Is so funny.
You know what my favorite one is?
What's that?
You know how I know you're gay?
What?
Your dick tastes like shit. That's like that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Here's an interesting fact. Seth Rogen looks damn near 43 in this. He was 22 when this film was made.
I remember this is the one he was in like the best shape too.
He had the beard like a heavy metal punk rocker. A really cool fact too. You'll notice Seth Rogen's characters in the film all wear like rock album shirts. Those are all from Universal. Universal made the film, so those are Universal things. This is the first time Steve Carell ever kissed somebody on film.
I read that one today.
Isn't that adorable? Yeah. I mean, that's how you really feel. Like you honestly feel like he just met this girl. Yeah. He's never been with one. I adore that. You have any facts?
The chest hair scene, the chest hair waxing, that was completely real.
Yeah.
They had 5 cameras, and because Steve Carell told Judd Apatow, he says it has to be real. You have to get the real. Like
I can't fake pain.
No, you can't. And so he's just like, it has to be real. So they did it with 5 cameras.
God, when he's bleeding out of his,
you see a couple of like specks are coming up off the skin. You're like,
real blood.
Oh, and on the shirt after.
Oh, it's like blood coming through. Oh, the movie feels so real. Like it feels like you really know these guys. You become general like friends with them. That's what's so great about it. The eBay store that we sell yourself an eBay store. That's real. That's a real store. I don't know what's the point of that.
And that's the first time I've ever seen. Is that the first time he's ever been in a movie?
Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
That I don't know about. I know he was in Grandma's Boy. I don't know which one came out first.
This one definitely.
This one 2005.
Yeah.
It might be Jonah Hill, the incredible growing and shrinking man, because he's huge in that film.
I love this. I just want to buy these and take them home so I can wear them.
The goldfish, these are wonderful. The goldfish disco shoes.
Yeah. Premiere voted it as one of the 50 greatest comedies of all time.
If it's not in your top 5, I just call it, or top 10. Like, it's my number 1, just because this started after this. You had Knocked Up, you had Superbad, you had all these amazing films that just warm your heart and make you die laughing because they are so improvised and you can tell. Here's my I don't know why it's my favorite fact. I think it's just hilarious when he gets barfed on by Judd Apatow's wife there in that scene when he goes like this Leslie Mann this shellfish sandwich. Yeah. That's yogurt.
Yeah. I'm just saying because I didn't know that until because when I started researching, for the facts.
It's so. I mean, It's my favorite comedy. The second the movie was done, I was even like, this is my favorite comedy of all time.
Yeah,
This is something like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
When he wakes up and he pisses on himself because he has a boner. And, I mean, the film is great. I absolutely adore it. So, 40-Year-Old Virgin, if you haven't watched it, what's wrong with you? Go watch it. It's just fantastic. It's great in every which way. So, Steve Carell killed it. It also helped, apparently, The Office continue to be made. Because The Office, apparently they didn't like Steve Carell's character in the movie, so they were going to cut it, and then they saw him in this movie and saw that he was more charming, so they made him more charming, like the character, more of a doofus like he is in this film. So,
yeah.
40-Year-Old Virgin, Judd Apatow, Steve Carell, 2005, my number one comedy of all time. What is your number one, sir?
My number one comedy is from 1974.
I know what it is.
Young Frankenstein.
Brilliant movie.
93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And that's well deserved. I just saw that movie this year.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
It's crazy when these movies are actually holding up to today's comedy. Like, it's insane to know that this movie is hilarious to
Mel
this day.
Brooks is a genius.
He really is. And, I can't remember if I saw Willy Wonka first or this movie first.
Yeah.
But Gene Wilder, I fell in love with the guy. He is so good. Blazing Saddles, he's hilarious. Yeah.
I love him in Blazing Saddles. I'm surprised. You know what? I thought Blazing Saddles was going to be your number one.
I wanted to kind of organize it kind of every decade.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Enough. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I could pick like 30 from the 80s.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. 80s rock comedy.
Yeah. So first fact, this is a kind of a big one. So I'm just going to read it off here. Mel Brooks, when he was preparing for the film, he found Ken Stricktofen. And he made the elaborate electrical machinery for the lab sequences in the Universal Frankenstein movies.
Cool.
So he was still alive, and he found him in the Los Angeles area. He visited him and found out he saved all the equipment and stored it in his garage. So he made a deal to rent the equipment.
Okay.
So the equipment they're using for like the Frankenstein scenes, to bring the monster back, that's all from the Universal Frankenstein movie.
Oh, that's so. Well, it looks just like
exactly.
It.
So it's like
awesome.
Legit equipment, and so he made a deal with him, and they gave Strickland the screen credit he deserved because he didn't get a screen credit in the Frankenstein movies.
Oh, wow, that's
from before,
so cool.
Which I thought was awesome. I mean, Mel Brooks, classy guy, right?
Mel Brooks is a G.
Yeah, and Gene Wilder says this is his favorite film he's ever made.
Even more than Willy Wonka.
You know?
That's a very.
And Willy Wonka's a good movie.
Well, you know what you do? You just walk this way.
That's coming up in my next.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's
no.
That's one of my favorite things.
It's a good segue.
Okay.
So the skit is that he's talking about is Marty Feldman. He's Igor, pronounced Igor in the movie. It's a running gag. He kept doing this thing where this is leading up into it, where he had his hump, right? And he kept switching the hump over on purpose until people started noticing, and then they loved it, so they put it in the scene. But there's a scene where he tells Gene Wilder, he's just like, follow me, and then he's just like, walk this way. And then he walks down the stairs.
He has this little cane that's
and
like
then he walks down the stairs, and then he, as soon as he does that, he looks back at Gene Wilder, Frankenstein, as he pronounces it in the movie. He gives him the cane, and he's just like, no, like, walk this way, like, walk it, do it. Yeah. And then so he makes him do it. So the fact that I'm going to go with is in 1974, when the movie came out, Aerosmith took a break from recording to watch this movie.
Okay.
The next morning, Steven Tyler, inspired by Marty Feldman Walk This Way gag, wrote the song Walk This Way.
That's so awesome.
I think that's one of the coolest things ever.
I mean, being immortalized by Aerosmith is pretty dope.
Exactly. That's insane.
I saw that scene, like I was telling you, I saw that scene that this year. When that scene happened, I almost spit taked. I thought it was such a dick thing to do.
It's so, because it doesn't even make sense. And what's his name?
And the cane is this big.
Mel Brooks didn't really originally like the gag. He was going to cut it. But they got such a good response from it.
That's my favorite part of the whole movie.
And it's so funny because it's like so stupid to think, walk this way. And then, he walks like all weird. And he's like,
my favorite is that his cane is this big. And he makes him like hunch all the way down.
It's pretty funny.
It doesn't even have like an abnormality.
It's so good. And there's so many, like one that I love it so much. He's all pissed off. Gene Wilder's all pissed off because the monster didn't come back to life.
Yeah.
And, it hasn't happened yet. So he's really pissed off. He's sitting at dinner. He's not eating his food.
I love this scene.
And then Ingrid, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She's just like, my darling, you haven't touched your food. And he looks at her. He looks down at his food. He's just like, there. There, I touched it. And he's slamming his hands down. Such silly lines, but they're so funny. And they filmed it in black and white. Mel Brooks wanted to film it in black and white, give it that whole...
It looks so good in black and white.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like,
I love when he's trapped, and he's like, no matter how much I beg, do not let me out. And he goes down, and the second he goes in, he's like, for the love of God, let me out!
And he's freaking out. And I'm telling you, watch this movie. If you have any love for comedy, love for cinema in general...
It's a classic film all around.
You will love this movie, and I think it's on Netflix.
Young Frankenstein is on. That's where I watched it. It was on Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix. So keep going with that. We're doing pretty good for time. I think we got about like 10 minutes.
Yeah. So that was our
we'll do honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Yeah. Okay. So my.
Let us know what you think. Watch these movies.
Do you think we have shitty taste in comedy? Do you think we have a great taste in comedy?
Well, you're whatever. One cool thing. I mean, these are a lot of movies that maybe have come up and movies that you maybe haven't seen for so long and make you want to watch them again.
Revisit these films if you have.
Some of these classics I know a lot of people haven't had a chance to see. Definitely watch them.
Yeah.
Kind of expand, like go broaden your horizons a little bit more because there is some funny stuff, some amazing action movies, amazing drama, thriller movies that like from back in the day that still hold up to this day that you guys should definitely check out and make you appreciate it a lot more.
Well, yeah, a lot of these films, I mean, I want to say nostalgia, but like some of them are new, but I watched these when I was so young. It is very nostalgic for me, like,
And that's the thing, like even going back and watching Anchorman, the first one we were just talking about that.
That is my first honorable mention, Anchorman.
Good segue.
I mean, God, man. The most endlessly quotable film.
Yeah.
In the opening sequence is so funny.
I think we did about
New York.
I think we did about 10 quotes right before we started.
Oh my God! Is the camera rolling?
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Yeah, that's funny.
What's your name? Lanolin? Lanolin? Like sheep's wool? I mean, I could quote the movie all day. I mean, when he has a boner in front of
and he's just standing there.
He goes, "What? Oh God!" And then
good hustle, everyone.
Brick.
Really good.
Whammy! I mean, that kills me every time. Anchorman.
That's not Brick.
Oh, who's
That's
Champ? Champ. Brick is the Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Brick is one of the... Brick, where'd you get a hand grenade? I don't know.
And he's laughing on the other side with Vince Vaughn.
That fight is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
The hardest I laughed in that movie? Where did you get those clothes from? The toilet store?
Why don't you guys say anything? Even the stupid guy doesn't think right said something. Vince Vaughn's character.
So funny.
Vince Vaughn.
And he does that laugh.
He throws a cigarette. Vince Vaughn was great. So, yeah, Anchorman. That's one of my honorable mentions. My second honorable mention is a very new film, but just based on, like, if this is based on laughs alone, I also love supernatural things, like your horror, your fiction, all these supernatural things. This is the end.
Okay.
God. I love This Is the End. I went with you.
I'm a little surprised that one of the movies I'm going to mention isn't on your honorable mention.
We only got two.
Yeah.
And I love This Is the End.
And I know in the end you constantly talk about that. I love that movie.
This Is the End.
But I know how high it is for you.
Michael Cera's performance in that before whatever happens to him. When he smacks Rihanna's ass. We're playing a game, alright? And he's just such a piece of shit. He's like, which one of you guys stole my cell phone? You don't even know how much cocaine I wasted on you people? So yeah, I mean, This Is the End. Apocalypse movie. Jay Baruchel's awesome in it. Seth Rogen again. Those boys. Mm-hmm. They play the shittiest versions of themselves, which is what's so funny. Jonah Hill is such a dirtbag.
Oh, he pisses me off because I know people like that.
He's such an asshole.
I want to punch him right in the face, and I get why Jay Baruchel gets so mad all the time.
He just punches him in the face.
I get
it. And then Jonah Hill wishes Jay Baruchel to die, and then Jonah Hill getting raped by the devil. God. And the next day when he wakes up and he's just all he's all fucked up. He's like, last night wasn't so tight, guys. This Is the End. If you haven't seen it, it's a fairly new film. Check out This Is the End. That one was really tough. It's not the film I love This Is the End. It was great. So what was your honorable mentions?
Two honorable mentions. They're in no specific order.
Yeah, neither were those ones really.
And I'll tell you why they didn't make it in. So one movie, like I said, not in any specific order, is Ace Ventura.
Oh God.
I didn't put it in because I didn't want to have two Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber.
He's a legend of comedy.
But Ace Ventura growing up was so funny. And it's one of those movies where the sequel was so funny.
Yeah.
Pet Detective, When Nature Calls, so good.
One of the hardest I've ever laughed was in When Nature Calls, the second one, when he gets out of the rhino.
Yeah.
And he's just in that. We've discussed it a billion times. I laugh 100%.
It might be one of the funniest things I've ever.
He's so hot, and he takes off all his clothes. The fan breaks in it.
What were we talking about? We were talking about the only times I've ever like really felt true pain from a character is that. There was
sweating.
there was one more, and then Revenant is when I felt like real pain. Like I felt like this person is going through the hardest time of their life. Ace Ventura sweating in the rhino.
He can't get like cold. When he comes out and he's like giving birth, and they think this rhino, which is a fake robotic rhino, is giving birth, and like he's coming out the hole, and it's like stuck, and he's like, it's hot in there, and he comes out and he's naked.
Oh god, too funny.
And then his friend from Africa, his little buddy, when they're spying and they catch him, and he's like, "Yo, Ace, I was caught. No sweat."
Don't beat yourself up, buddy.
Don't beat yourself up about it.
Oh god, so many things we can talk about it.
The cartoon was great too. I grew up with the cartoon.
It was good. It really was.
Pass me a spear. Ah!
So good.
Pass me another one. Ah!
I honestly it was hard not to put that in the list. God. The only reason I didn't put it in was because of Dumb and Dumber. I didn't want to have two Jim Carrey movies.
You wanted to switch up the flavor.
I wanted to switch it up, yeah, absolutely. Another one which is probably the most recent movie out of all these movies.
Okay.
McGruber.
Oh god. McGruber!
I was so blown away by how funny that movie is. Basically, every punchline, I was laughing out loud.
It's based off of the SNL skit McGruber, which is like a 10-second skit. It's all about McGruber trying to solve this bomb, and then it always blows up.
Which is based on MacGyver.
Yes, McGruber. Yeah, McGruber. Oh god, when we talk inside jokes and quotable movies, that movie is so funny.
Probably McGruber is a movie that we do lines from it basically daily.
Daily. I never not do a McGruber
so many things
line.
come from that.
I mean, I bet you wish your nose was. I'm not gonna do that one. I mean, let's go right to it. The sex scene. It has the greatest comedic sex scene in the history of comedy.
And
there's no.
If you didn't burst out laughing and cry laughing at that part, you don't know. I don't know what to say.
Banging his dead wife's ghost on a tombstone, and the grave worker, what are they called? The undertaker.
Yeah.
He walks by and he sees it. He's like.
But the first one, remember, it's like the most sexiest scene ever. I think Careless Whisper is playing.
Careless Whisper's playing. And it's like kind of Top Gunny.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all sweaty.
And then craziness happens. I don't want to ruin that part.
Yeah,
because that is the most shocking, hilarious thing you'll see I don't know, probably forever.
Kristen Wiig is funny in it. Ryan Phillippe's great in it. It was directed by the guy who is in the Lonely Island crew. Yorma or something like that. I think it was.
It was.
I think it was one of the Lonely Island guys.
It was not Yorma. It was
one of those dudes. It wasn't Andy Samberg.
No,
Andy Samberg didn't direct it. McGruber is endlessly funny. Not enough people have watched this film. Do yourself a favor. I don't even want to tell any of the jokes. McGruber is hysterical. Will Arnett is brilliant, and he's horribly underrated.
He has the greatest action movie scream in history. It is so good.
And he does Val Kilmer playing what's awesome about the film is how everybody plays it like they're serious, but McGruber is just such a giant sack of shit.
Yeah.
And the way they distract people to kill them is ridiculous.
Oh, I love it.
And just how he doesn't use guns and
I love it. I love every second of it.
McGruber is fantastic. Watch McGruber if you haven't. It's amazing. So that was our top 5 list.
This, honestly, I think this might be our best video yet.
You think so?
Yeah. Most energy. We went the craziest.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good. And we're looking at 102, so we can pretty much split this up right down the middle to half an hour and a bit.
So there we go. We made our video a little shorter for we made our shorter little video for everybody. This one was tough, man. This wasn't fun. It's not because how many comedies do you love? Like a million. Right? Me too.
I love all the comedies.
I don't love all comedies, but I love a lot of comedies. And for me to still say no to some things, these are just films that stuck with me the most. You can agree or disagree.
There was a reason why they were in some because we laughed the most, some because of the storyline, some because of what they meant and what they started.
Exactly. So I always thought the scenes that really stuck out to me, that came back to me, 40-Year-Old Virgin. I mean, the whole movie always was in my mind, so I knew it was going to be number one. Monty Python, the Killer Rabbit scene is one of the funniest scenes. You know, Dumb and Dumber, I've watched so many times and it still holds up. So these are the ones I knew right away. I had to do some research on the others, but this was this is a fun list to do, but it still broke my heart.
Absolutely.
So, do you guys agree with this list? Let us know, eh? Do us a favor as well. Throw a like and a subscribe.
Like and comment what your guys' favorite movies are. Put down your lists. We'd love to hear from them, and we don't have a crazy amount of subscribers, so I'm sure we can respond to all the comments.
Yeah, hook us up. We're only a month in, so thanks for everybody who has so far supported us in our YouTube adventure. We greatly appreciate it. We're not going to stop. I mean, this is the funnest thing I do. I love filming these videos. This is so much fun.
And we got the microphone.
We got a microphone so you guys can listen to us. We got some light up in here so it's not too dark. You know, we're learning.
Yeah,
we're learning
we got all the lights on, and I'm slightly sweating.
I'm sweating my ass off. I'm actually sweating.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn some lights down as soon as this is done.
Exactly. It's pretty. I feel like Ace Ventura and that Rhino.
Wow.
So our next video.
Wow.
Yeah. Not that hot. Yeah. That's pretty hot.
That's like me in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
Any stressful situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Star Trek.
Our next video. Yeah. My boy here. Inside joke. Our next video is going to be I think we agreed our top 5 favorite sports films.
Finally.
Yeah, which, I mean, I know there's a film this guy wants to talk about.
But I couldn't put it in because of, I couldn't put it in for action.
Because of technicalities.
Because of technicalities. So I'm excited to finally show my love for the man, the myth, the legend. Love you.
Yeah, so I mean, I got my list ready to go. I'm excited to watch. I mean, who doesn't love a good sports film? We did our top martial arts films. This one's gonna, we're gonna throw maybe some football, some basketball, whatever.
This one's gonna kind of tide us over. Not sure if we're gonna do another movie before, but this one's gonna tide us over until UFC 202.
That's right, UFC 202, which we are gonna do a mad video on, and then we are going to see. We wanted to see Bloodfather with Mel Gibson. It's getting fantastic reviews.
Watch the trailer.
Watch the trailer for Mel Gibson's Bloodfather. It looks incredible. They're not playing it up in freaking Calgary.
Yeah, just like I was looking at everything. I was just Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, where like nobody lives.
Yeah, who lives in Toronto?
Like, who the hell is living out there?
Come to the
they
403.
Can't show like the main, the main city, the C spot, 403, Cowtown, Peterville.
Flames, go Flames, go Flames, go. You're not a Flames fan. Anyway,
that's not Flames. I don't know what that is.
So yeah, we want to see Bloodfather, but we are going to see this new horror movie, which we're very excited. And I think, from the trailers, I love this trailer.
This is an audition for me. This is an audition because I heard this guy. You told me, you showed me. I saw the tweets. I saw this. I saw that. Wants to play Cable so bad.
This blind guy, and watch the trailer for Don't Breathe. If you get scared easily, maybe don't. But this movie looks intense.
Yeah,
it's about this blind guy. These robbers get trapped in this blind guy's house, and this blind guy is a savage. Apparently, you don't mess with him. This is the guy that might be playing Cable,
and he wants to so bad,
and he's jacked.
I'm like, I just want Cable to be like super jacked, like King Leonidas jacked, or like big. But this guy, honestly, he looks pretty cut up in this movie.
He's jacked,
and he looks pretty good. The hair, and he's like the one that's actually campaigning and like giving a shit about it.
He's a good actor.
So this is gonna be because Cable's very important to me.
Yeah,
very important.
Yeah.
So this is going to be kind of my audition for this guy. This guy's going to be auditioning for me because I matter. My opinion apparently matters to who they.
So I think we will do a review of the new horror film coming out. Don't Breathe. I love that trailer. It came out of nowhere. We watch it together. We're like, yo, we're going to that opening night. So.
And then we'll do something big because we're going to get that VIP action at Donegal's.
Donegal's going to hook us up with some VIP for 202. So it's Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2. We're going to get down. That's an awesome card. Is Glover Teixeira fighting Anthony Johnson on that one as well?
I believe so.
That's an awesome fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pulling for Glover. I like Glover. I like that. He called out Anthony Johnson.
That's a dirty fight.
You're calling out Anthony Johnson. You're a badass.
That's scary. That's
a
scary fight.
You know what, though? With that fight, we're kind of going to MMA talk now here. Glover, I think, can break him because we know the kryptonite against Anthony Johnson is about surviving that lightning first round.
We gotta go. This has to be another video.
Exactly. So we
can't be giving like samples and stuff.
Yeah, we're not gonna give you that for free.
Man, we're trying. I just bought this. This is like this is layaway now. We gotta pay this off.
You guys can hear us so good now. Yeah, so that's our video, top 5. Next time we're going to do our top 5 sports. There it is. Please like and subscribe. Please comment. Thanks for the kind words we've been getting. And anything else to say?
No.
We will see you guys really soon.